All right, gang, so today we're going to be looking at converting measurements using some basic conversion factors. Those conversion factors that you see in your notes are also given on the Regents for your use, so it's a really good reference. But sometimes you're going to be asked to convert things that you wouldn't see up there that should be general knowledge. I'm going to do some of the problems with you today, and then you're going to do all the rest on your own. I'm going to look at 1, 2, 5, and 8 with you, and then you'll do the rest on your own, and then answer some Regents questions for your exit tickets. So taking a look at number 1, we have how many seconds are there in 14 years? So there's no conversions up there dealing with time. These are things that you should already know. So in order to set up this conversion factor, we're going to be multiplying and converting time to the smaller unit of seconds. To do this, we're going to set up a ratio. 14 years is to 1. Now, typically when you set up a ratio, and if you're only dealing with 1 unit, your first ratio is going to be over 1. Now, you should know that there are 365 days in 1 year. Now, when you're setting up the next ratio, you want years to be in the denominator so that when you multiply, years cancel out. So we have 365 days is 1 year. Then you should also know that there are 24 hours in 1 day. And we want days to cancel out. So days is going to now be in the denominator. Then on top of that, you also know that there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. So we want hours to cancel out. That needs to be in the denominator. And last, we know that there are 60 seconds in 1 minute. And we want minutes to cancel out, so that also needs to be in the denominator. So now if I'm converting, I can cancel out all those units that are diagonal from each other, and I should be left with the 1 unit I want, which is seconds. So years cancels out because years divided by years is 1. Days cancels out because days divided by days is also 1. Hours cancels out because hours over hours equals 1. And minutes cancels out because a minute over a minute is 1. And I'm left with seconds. So then I go right into my calculator, and you can see I already have the answer typed in there. So from right here, the final answer is 441,504,000 seconds in 14 years. All right, so taking a look at number 2, now we're going to use some actual measurements, and we want to convert ounces to tons. So that's where you're going to be using the measurement conversions from up top. So we're starting with 2.5 tons. So we have 2.5 tons over 1. And then you should see that from the top conversions, it gives us that 1 ton is equivalent to 2,000 pounds. Now we need tons in the denominator, so they cancel out. So we're going to write 2,000 pounds over 1 ton. And then also up in the top of the notes, you see that 16 ounces are in 1 pound. So now we want pounds in the denominator. So we have 16 ounces over 1 pound. And that should get us to the right unit. We can check by canceling. Tons cancels with tons, pounds cancels with pounds, and we're left with ounces. And then if you multiply 2.5 by 2,000 times 16, we get this answer right here of 80,000 ounces. So there are 80,000 ounces in 2.5 tons. Okay, so now I'm going to jump to number 8. Nope, not number 8 yet, number 5. To show you that sometimes you're not always having 1 in the denominator. So here we're going from a smaller unit, 24,000 ounces, to tons. So that's going to make the denominator have some values in it instead of just 1. So here, again, we start with 24,000 ounces is to 1. And we're going to use some of the same conversions we just looked at. So now we want to go from ounces to tons. The in-between conversion factor would be pounds. So we have 1 pound is 16 ounces, with ounces going in the denominator so that they cancel out. And we also know that 1 ton is 2,000 pounds. And pounds has to also go in the denominator so it cancels out. So now I can check to make sure that I have the unit I need. Ounces cancels with ounces, pounds cancels with pounds. I'm left with tons. So now I have 24,000 tons over 16 times 2,000 is 32,000. Dividing that out, as you see here, 24,000 divided by 32,000 is 0.75. So 3/4 of a ton is equivalent to 24,000 ounces. All right, so in all the ones I showed you, I'm just converting one unit to another. So you should be able to do the ones I left out. But numbers 8 and 9 have 2 units that are being converted. So I'm going to take a look at number 8 with you. So taking a look at number 8, notice it says 90,000 meters per second is how many miles per hour. So we're going to be converting meters to miles and seconds to hours. So our first ratio is now 90,000 meters over 1 second. And now when I'm converting, I have to get rid of units for distance and units for time as well. So I'm going to start with the units for distance. So we know that from the other page that there are 1,000 meters in 1 kilometer. So we have 1 kilometer equals 1,000 meters. I put 1,000 meters on the bottom so that meters cancel out. We know that 1 mile from the top is equivalent to 1.6 kilometers. So I'm going to put 1 mile in the numerator and 1.6 kilometers or kilometers, however you say it, in the denominator. So the kilometers cancel out. And now we've got our meters to miles, but we have to deal with time as well. So we have seconds in the denominator, so we want seconds in the numerator. We know there are 60 seconds in 1 minute. We know there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. So now if I cancel, I should have only the units I'm looking for. So meters cancel out, kilometers cancel out, I'm left with miles. Seconds cancel out, and minutes cancel out, I'm left with hours. So I'm going to get a result of miles per hour. So I'm going to multiply all the numerators together and all the denominators together. So we have 90,000 times 60 times 60 again. I'm leaving out the multiplying by 1 because that's not going to actually change our answer. And we get 324 million. And that would be our miles over, if we multiply the bottom, 1,000 times 1.6. Should be able to do in my head, but I'm going to multiply it on my calculator anyway, is 1,600 hours. And then we can simplify that. Okay, so if we try 324 million divided by 1,600, we get 202,500. So it's 202,500 miles per hour. So something's driving really fast. All right, so you're going to try number 9, which is similar to that one on your own, and answer some Regents questions to make sure you are ready to go. Good luck.